It's time to take your business to the next level, the boss level. These are the premier business owner strategies and successes being utilized by the industry's top talent today. Rock your business like a boss, a VO boss. Now let's welcome your host, Ann Ganguza.
Hey everyone, welcome to the VO Boss Podcast and the Boss Superpower Series. I'm feeling super powerful today, by the way. I'm your host, Ann Ganguza, and I'm here with my VO Boss co-host, Lau Lapidus.
Hey everyone, good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are.
Lau, I'm feeling powerful, definitely business superpowers. And you know why?
So many reasons, but tell me.
Well, I am still riding the high of the last conference that we were both at, where I'm so excited that we met each other for the very first time in person, which was so wonderful. And I'll tell you, people ask me, so how was the conference? What was your biggest takeaway? Was it great? And I'm like, I think the very best thing about this conference was the energy. The energy that I have received and gotten and been motivated by and inspired by. And I feel like it's time to take action, to move forward and grow and really just run full speed ahead with my business. And I think we should talk about taking action.
Ooh, I love that. I'm going to second that. I felt like I got out of there and I was like Rosie the Riveter. I just felt like I wanted to jump on things. Yeah. I wanted to follow up. I wanted to stay in touch, keep the momentum going. There was an energy and momentum in an event like this that's hard to craft and create completely on your own. Just like group synergy, that team love, that family feel, right? And you and I meeting, oh my.
I know.
Wonder Twin Powers activate.
I feel like we've known each other forever, though. It was like, there's Lau, but it was like, oh my God, it was in person. It was so wonderful. And I think there's that extra special juice that you get when you are in person with people that can really help to motivate you. And I know it is so hard for voice talent as we are so isolated in our booths and working from home a lot of the time by ourselves. And now that we're just starting to get back out into the world, I feel a little more carefully, but we're getting out there, which is just wonderful. I think even I didn't realize how much I missed that energy. Gosh, I used to have events all the time at my home and people are like, are you going to bring them back? Are you going to bring them back? And I'm like, oh gosh, thinking about putting on events, it's a lot of work, but I'll tell you what, you get so much out of it.
The energy is infectious too.
Yeah.
You can't be sad. Even if you're shy or introverted, I had a few clients say, oh, I didn't make it. I'd like to go next year, but I'm not great with crowds. I'm not a very social person. I said, that's okay, because guess what? There was a room for everyone. There was a space for everyone. And you could be in an X session with 12 people. You could be in a speaking room with 40 people. You could be in a private meeting with someone in the lounge. So in my mind, whether you're an extroverted introvert or an introverted extrovert, you could come and enjoy and maybe not sit in a ballroom of 700 if that makes you feel uncomfortable, right?
Absolutely. And then just the people that you've always wanted to meet, that you've been working with them online, maybe they're in your accountability group, maybe you've been posting and exchanging messages back and forth. And when you finally meet, you can just go to a private area and just motivate, inspire, and all the good stuff. And I really came away thinking, wow, that was even more than Ann Ganguza, who I've been to conferences over and over and over again, and it just has been so long. It was just so refreshing. And so I think it would be good to talk about, what do we do now? What do we do now with all of that good energy? And how do we take action to really move ahead and move forward? Because I think this is the time to do it.
Right. To me, it's like surfing a wave. I'm not a surfer, but I can visualize what a surfer is doing. And there's a wave coming. As it's coming, you're preparing for it. And then you start riding it, which is our conference event. We're riding that wave. But then it starts to come in and starts to crash, right? And then it kind of turns into a minimal, almost nothing anymore wave. So you have to ride the wave as long as you can while people's energy is up and excited.
Yeah.
I actually had people, I'm sure you did too, Ann, that said to me, Lau, I want to reconnect before my momentum goes or before my energy leaves me. So there is that magical moment that you want to capture your clients and your colleagues in. You don't want to miss that window of time.
I want to just not make it so much, well, of course, we just came back from an in-person event, but also I want to talk about when you have even an online class or an online workshop or an online meeting, something that inspires and motivates you. I mean, we've been getting together week after week after week, recording this podcast, and you inspire me, you motivate me. And I think the energy of each other, right? We really pump each other up. And I think that's the time when we're taking notes, we're brainstorming ideas. That's when we can really help each other grow in our businesses and really feel fulfilled. It is such a tough thing to work on your own and not have that energy. So I would say that even if you have a really great workout class, you know, I do the VO Peeps online because it's hard for me to do them now, of course, in person. It allows people from all around the world to join. And I'll tell you what, there's energy that can be received from those sessions as well. And so I think that if you are taking notes and you're jotting things down and you have goals, I think this is now the time to make sure that you've written them down and read them again and then start a plan for achieving those goals, right?
Absolutely. In no way am I saying you have to be in person in order to get that kind of energy and juice from your people. You can be online. You could be at your accountability group. You could be in a coaching session. You could be in a rehearsal session with a buddy. But the point is, as creatives, we are oftentimes better at creating and motivating and keeping our momentum alive when we are with others that are like-minded. And I always say, you know, what my precious dad taught me in business, one of his business principles was surround yourself in the room with people who are so much better than you. You should not be the smartest person in the room. Be the dullest person in the room. That way, you can challenge yourself. You can learn things. You can share growth. And you don't have to feel like you're spinning your wheels. None of us want to feel like we're getting lazy or we're not engaged or we're spinning our wheels. That's why I love these conferences, because I feel like it's for every level. Someone coming in early entry, someone who's super advanced, who's been doing it for 15 years. They all belong. They all can find their peeps in there, and they can learn and grow from them.
One other thing that I got from this, too, is that in-person energy. I always say if you can have in-person meetups, I think they're absolutely worthwhile. There's something to be said about, there's people that I hadn't seen in so long, and the past few years has been tough on social media. And I am the first to say it has been tough. I am all over social media because I'm selling events to people on social media and organizing audition demolitions and things like that. And so I am very much into social media. I have been, in terms of engaging in social media, I've stepped back just a little bit outside of here's my event and I hope you guys can come, and posting what I hope to be inspiring and motivational messages. But I have noticed that if I'm reading social media a lot, there's certain times that it becomes not inspirational or motivational and a little bit toxic, or what I perceive to be a little bit self-serving, okay? But yet when I was in the room with maybe the same person or people that I have thought, well, maybe they're self-serving, or what is that post all about? You really get to feel like, you know what? I get it now. I see. What might have seemed self-serving to me then became, oh, well, they're really feeling good about themselves. And it really just softened and it made everything gentler and more, I'm going to say, emotional heart to heart. I had many, many times during this conference when I was like close to tears just by being motivated and inspired by people.
Yeah, and I think we've got those cues that we don't often get. Sometimes we even miss on Zoom, like the nonverbals, the energy, even just like the scent of someone. It sounds weird, but you've got the scent, the pheromones, the olfactory, which gives you memories. You know, when you've got someone's energy right next to you and they're looking into your eyes and they're shaking their head and they're drinking coffee with you, there's a sensibility about that just as human beings, we need to have in our life to support all of our online work. It can't just be online. We have to also have that real intimate time with a real social distance so that we get that sense that, I don't know if it's a group, a team, a village, I don't know what to call it, but it's I'm in humanity. I'm part of humanity, and then I'm part of my industry's humanity. I'm part of something that's larger than myself.
I love that.
It's almost like the military. My son's in the military, and it's like, why do you want to do that? Oh, because you're a part of something that is much larger than you are, that has a common goal in mind. And that's what our industry is, where all of a sudden we remember we're part of a much larger mosaic of people and creatives that give us more meaning as to why every day we do what we do.
And I don't know if you were there and you heard the Team Challenge project. At the very end, it was people coming together to create a commercial for, I think it was the local ASPCA or a local animal shelter. And just people coming together and doing amazing things. And I think that when we come together, we can do amazing things. So when we are talking about taking action, bosses, I would say do what you can to get yourselves an accountability group or a group of peers that you are meeting with, and make it a point to meet with them once a week, once a month, whatever that is, just to maybe go over what are some goals, what are some issues you're trying to work out. And as I've always said, I like to write things down because when I write them down, it then cements it in my memory. It gives me something I can go back and look at and something that I can say, all right, keep on top of so that I can do what I need to do to achieve that goal. So for me, it would be get yourself a group of peers that can be accountability buddies, or even just having coffee once a week and just discussing the industry, having a podcast together. I feel
Who knows?
Right?
Who knows?
Really, anything like that. And write it down. Write down actions that you want to take and goals that you have. Lau, you've got any other tips that can help you to really take action on this energy that we're getting?
Absolutely. Don't limit yourself when you do find your people or your different groups of people that you're going to frequent and be a part of. Don't limit yourself to only professional talk and only business talk. I tend to fall into this problem myself just because I love my business. I'm really passionate. I always want to talk about it. But when you're together, make sure you observe moments of each other's lives. What is the family doing?
Sure.
Wow, that outfit. Ann and I are, before we get on air, we're always talking about our makeup and our outfits and our jewelry and our hair and our, because it's part of who we are as people. You know, it's part of our fun. It's part of our fun time. So don't forget the fun. And part of the fun is talking about something or doing about something that's not business related. It may be, you know, maybe you guys go out bowling together, or maybe you guys talk about animals together or whatever, because that really helps bond and cement your relationships through things that matter to you alongside your business, but not only your business, right?
And a lot of times when it comes to networking with people, that's really where the hook is. Not so much the business part of it, but when you are connecting with other people, are those personal things, those things that you have in common. I had a student who brought me a gift of a stuffed kitty. And oh my God, the cutest thing, because who doesn't know that I love cats? And some other wonderful person that brought me an amazing pair of red boots. And a wonderful piece of jewelry that says VO Boss, in case you guys haven't noticed, with my birthstone. My very favorite Lau. Thank you so much for that. But knowing that, right? And so now I've got something here that I can wear that can inspire me. And I'm not saying you have to get everybody something to wear, but that personal touch, you can carry it with you. And also, I'm going to say, because, again, our businesses are so personal. It's our voice. It's our personality that we're bringing to a read that story tells, brings things to life, that the better you know a person, even outside of their technical prowess of being able to voice something effectively. I know for me, when I help brand people or I help select what would be a great piece of copy for this person, and I know what they're passionate about. I know what their likes and their dislikes are. But I will tell you, it's always a great way to meet someone, right? When you're not initially attacking them with, oh, I'm a voice artist. Can you hire me? In reality, what can I do for you, rather than hire me, hire me, hire me. So I think always meeting people and approaching these groups with, what can I do to help you? Is, I think, a wonderful way to approach that. And I think that's going to help you be more motivated and more inspired. I know for me, helping others inspires and motivates me just to want to do better and do more.
I would even add in come up with an idea every now and then. It doesn't have to be a major breakthrough that you're sharing with everyone. It's just like a little mini idea. Like, for instance, you're a branding goddess. So you might have a quick little tip on branding that you're going to bring to your group. You're going to bring to your team. You're going to even bring to a conference where you're speaking on and say, let me lay this one on you, you guys. No one would think about this as a branding tool that also develops your rapport and deepens your relationship. That's part of your expertise that you can give to people that may be non-tangible. You're not spending money on it. It's just coming from your creative mind. That it's a gift that keeps on giving, literally, because someone could run with that ball and say, wow, Anne taught me this, Lau taught me this. Now I'm using it in my business. Now I'm doing whatever. That's where we want to go. We want to give value, give education, and give ideas at times too. Not your most precious ideas of your business. I'm not ensuring you should give all that away. I'm just saying there's always these tips of value that we're looking to do, whether we're doing a podcast or we're doing a blog or we're doing whatever, right? Yeah. That's what we're looking to do. And that in itself helps people bond to you because they see it's coming from an honest place.
Yeah. I think really that's key is honesty and authenticity. And also, it doesn't always have to be about voiceover, guys.
No.
Your support and motivation and inspiration can work into every aspect of your group's lives or the person that you're trying to help and move forward. This is such a crazy industry and it's so volatile sometimes. And when you're first starting out and it's hard to get your wheels spinning and see success, I think that's where a lot of times motivation and inspiration is very helpful. I know I've got some students that I mentor that sometimes it's not about voiceover. It's about how am I going to be able to continue to pursue what I love and start to see success while being able to pay the bills, right? So there has to be something practical there. And so a lot of times my advice may or may not be like, okay, pursue voiceover. Be like, look, we need a parallel path. And so you can do this because you've got these skills. And so why not think about a side hustle in this or think about this, or I know it's hard, don't worry, that kind of a thing. A lot of times when talent will get frustrated and say, I'm just not seeing any success, I don't know what else to do. And they're at their lowest point. I mean, here's where an accountability group can really help to inspire and motivate, or a good coach.
And maybe you even need to dig deeper and have a support group. Accountability groups do offer support by nature, but maybe you need something even deeper and more emotionally or psychologically driven. Like you got to find out what you need to be happy, balanced, and successful. And that has been a theme that's been running throughout our week post this event, Anne, is like, I loved this particular event because it validated my thoughts that I don't have to listen to everyone or listen to noise to be successful. I can also listen to myself and my own voice. And so get that coach, get that support group, get that friend in place that reminds you. We always need those reminders. You're good enough.
Yes.
You're working hard on what you do. You're doing the due diligence, and you're on a track that suits you. Like just keeping you on track, right?
Absolutely. And I think we're our own worst enemies, aren't we? I mean, even people such as myself and Lau, I'm sure you would agree that even though we've been in the business, sometimes we need our people too. We have our questions about, I need guidance every once in a while saying, Anne, you're on the right path. It's okay. It's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. And that will help to reel me in. But I think the whole riding the energy, taking action, writing notes, right? Setting goals and continually revisiting that and revisiting your people, whether it be online, whether it be in person, or a combination of both. I mean, I think both is amazing. And it's always like people talk about that discussion about online learning. Do you like online learning or in person? Which is more effective, right? And I think, honestly, if you can have a combination of both, right? Because obviously I voice a lot for some online learning places, but I've always been a fan of in-person communication and in-person growth and working in classes and sessions that are in person because you get a whole lot out of that.
I got one more for the road.
Yeah.
Here's my last goodie for the road. My last goodie is, and this is my specialty. I always think of myself as an idea person. I always say, I miss my calling in. I should have worked for some advertising agency, I think, is before you step in with your group, whether it's a conference or an accountability group, before you step in, have 2 or 3 ideas ready to go of how you can work with people. I naturally do that because that's what energizes me. For instance, before I podcast with Anne, in the morning I sit with my coffee and my smooth bossa nova jazz music, and I come up with not just helpful themes for the podcast itself, but how can Anne and I work together? How can we better each other's and grow each other's businesses?
Yes.
How can we energize and stir the pot of what we're doing? So I can come in and say, I'm excited. I have an idea. I have an idea. People love that, Anne, and I don't see that as much. I don't know if you do, but when I get together with people, they're working on their stuff, which is great. But very rarely do I say, I have an idea. Let's do this together. Let's make this happen. Let's form a group. Only a very small minority of people think in that way. You think in that way. I think in that way. I want the listeners to start thinking in that way. Create.
Yes, I love that you brought that up because I cannot tell you the benefits that I have derived from working with other people and teaming together with people on multiple things. Invaluable. Teaming up.
Spirals too.
Yeah, it does.
It's like really my hair in the heat. It just keeps going up and up and up. It just spirals out of control. Yeah, it's that rabbit hole where you just go down and down and down and down, and you just keep coming up with more thoughts, more ideas. And that doesn't mean that they're all going to pan out or they're all going to be successful. It means you keep the cobwebs out of your brain and you keep your motors going so that as a business owner, someone could come to you and say, hey, I need ideas for this. You say, I don't know. And I'm not sure. Let me think about it. No, you're like, no, I got ideas for you. Here we go. Here's the first one. Here's the second one. Here's the third one.
Yeah. Absolutely. Think of how you can team up with someone to do something amazing. I really think that can help to also, as you go along with your own independent business of voiceover, you can be contributing greatly to, let's say, becoming a resource for the community or a community. It doesn't have to be the voiceover community, but gosh, there's so much talent out there in our industry. I mean, we could do just about anything. It doesn't have to be contained for voiceover. Think of people that you know and have gotten to know and that would be great at doing a lot of different things. I mean, probably every one of the people that I work with that's on my team, I have come to them because they've had a special skill that I don't have, that I need and that I want, and that I'm happy to pay them for because they help me to grow my business. And it could be a skill that isn't voiceover, right? But skill that could be video editing, audio editing, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be voiceover specific. Even team leading or groups that they're a part of that we can be like a referral network for each other. So it's really incredible the things that you can do when you team up and you ride on that energy that can help you take action in your business. So I ask all of you bosses to really just consider partnering up with someone, getting your peeps together in a motivational accountability group and working together and writing things down and really taking action on the high and the motivation that you've gotten from in-person networking or online networking, whatever that is.
Yes. And finally, know the difference between the people that you can grow with, that are growth people, and people that are not in that sphere. It doesn't mean they're not creative or they're not energized. It means they're in their own little private Idaho. They're good with what they're doing. They're not as interested in helping you or them grow specifically. They're happy with where they're at. Just kind of know the difference. Don't have the same expectations of every person. That was something a financial advisor I heard say, and that kind of rocked my world. They said, know who your growth people are. She was specifically talking to the team that you're growing. Like some people are great for now, but they're not going to help you grow.
Right.
Other people are going to come in and they're growth people. Know the difference.
Yeah. And growth people, if they're part of your team, by the way, you have to motivate your growth people appropriately. Okay. As Gary Vaynerchuk says, no one's going to be as excited about your business as you. However, when there is motivation and there's inspiration, like I say, you always have to be like, what can I do to help you, right? When there's something in it for them as well, right? And it's obvious that you're not just about, oh, you're my employee, let me pay you, because I don't have a lot of money, let me pay you the cheapest amount that I possibly can. My team members, I mean, I pay them because I think of myself like, how is it that they're going to promote me, right, in my business when I'm not paying them what they're worth, or if I don't think they're worthy enough to pay a decent salary. And that's part of the motivation. That, as well as constantly encouraging, referring whatever I can do to help them move their own careers forward. And sometimes that means letting them go too. Do you know what I mean? Because they've outgrown me. That's okay. I mean, I love that, actually.
Yeah, and you need to be their cheerleader, but they also need to be your cheerleader. So you want to train cheerleaders, in essence, to be growing one another. And if the growth is stopping and everything's dying or stagnant or going the wrong way, then you may not need to be together anymore. Still stay connected and be a great associate and always leave things on a really great note. So you could come back together if you want to come back together. But know who your growth people are.
I love that. If you take away anything, guys, know who your growth people are and really take action on that inspiration, motivation that you get from your growth people. Absolutely. Lau, thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure, as always.
Yeah, so wonderful, as always, to chat with you about all these wonderful topics for bosses. And bosses, I am going to say that as individuals, as we were just talking about, it can seem difficult to make a big impact. But I tell you what, as a group, as we just saw, as we've been talking about all podcasts, we can contribute to the growth of our communities in ways that we never even thought possible. Visit 100voiceswhocare.org to learn how and learn more. Also, big shout out to our sponsor, IPDTL. I love IPDTL. You guys can also love IPDTL and be bosses. Find out more at ipdtl.com. All right, guys. Have a great week. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Join us next week for another edition of VO Boss with your host, Ann Ganguza. And take your business to the next level. Sign up for our mailing list at voboss.com and receive exclusive content, industry revolutionizing tips and strategies, and new ways to rock your business like a boss. Redistribution with permission, coast-to-coast connectivity via IPDTL.